Hello, my name is Anthony Crain, and I am a big fan of SAFE, and I am here to help you understand the big picture. When I first saw the big picture, I was overwhelmed. It looks like a lot of icons, and my brain kind of went crazy, but it turns out it's really easy to get your brain around, and so I just want to help anybody who finds this video and my clients who I give this video to help them kind of understand the big picture, which is what this is called. Now, for real training, if you go to the top, I'm on the actual Scaled Agile Framework website. You can get here just by simply typing scaledagileframework.com. And safe training is on here. You can go here, but the best training class, if you're kind of confused because there's lots of training, is Leading Safe. It's the one that kind of introduces you to the big picture. All the rest of the courses tend to be more role specific. So if you're in a specific role, that training can be really helpful for you to connect the dots even further. But for that big picture kind of understanding, Leading Safe, which you can get an SA, which is a Scaled Agile certification if you take the exam and pass it. So that's the one I recommend for everybody who's new. In the meantime, though, I'm not here to replace that class. I'm just going to give you an overview so that this picture is not overwhelming anymore. In fact, it just makes sense to you. Because that's what happened to me. I'm hoping that it'll happen to you. So just a quick overview here. First off, notice over here, there's this big white area that's divided into 3 sections: essential, large solution, and portfolio. That's the main part of the screen. Off to the left in gray are a bunch of roles. And then there's like these bubbles on the side, on the bottom. You can see all these icons on the right here, and then a bunch of little tabs across the top. Something that says Business Agility up there and Lean Agile Leadership down there. So that's kind of the architecture of this. So what I want to do today is kind of help you see that this architecture is actually very simple, and it can get complicated only when you need it to. So the first thing I want to point out to you is that the big main area has 3 different layers: the essential layer, the large solution layer, and the portfolio layer. So that's it. Understand that to start with, and you're going to be in great shape. There's 3 layers: essential, large solution, portfolio. This gray bar down here is like a foundation layer. We'll talk more about that. But the idea here is there are 3 major layers. So when I navigate someone, when I'm helping someone to find something, I'll say, hey, in the large solution layer, you'll see the solution intent. So they go, large solution layer, oh, solution intent. So that gives you the vocabulary, especially in COVID time when we're kind of navigating each other over Zoom. It's like, hey, if you look in the portfolio layer, you'll see some epics. And you're like, oh, portfolio layer. Oh, yeah, there's epics. The other thing, if you didn't know this, every icon on here is clickable. You click it, you're going to get an article about that item. That's what they call them. They call them articles. So there's tons of them, and they're insidious. Like here, portfolio backlog is a different article than portfolio Kanban. So even though it looks like one icon, there are actually 2 articles hiding behind there. So there is a lot to click on. Even this 5.1 you can click on, and this 5 for the enterprises you can click on. So everything is clickable. And again, that makes it feel overwhelming, but break it down. There are 3 layers, and we're going to start with that. Now, from there, I'm going to go into a PowerPoint presentation that hides all the different parts of the big picture so that it doesn't feel quite so overwhelming. Okay, so this is the oh, what is this? Why is it transcribing me down there? That's interesting. All right, maybe I'll just come out of this mode. I didn't expect to see my words starting to appear down there. So I'll just keep it in this mode, and I'll learn more about that feature later. Okay, so in the meantime, and I don't even know if that'll come across in the Zoom, if that was a Zoom thing or a PowerPoint thing. Anyway, so here is the big picture. Everything is hidden. So what I want to do is start to kind of build it up. The only thing I have is showing is up on the top here. We do have these tabs, okay? And if I go back to the big picture, what these do is they allow you to filter the big picture down. So notice that there's an essential layer and there's an essential tab. There's a large solution layer, there's a large solution tab, there's a portfolio layer and a portfolio tab, and then there's a full safe, which shows you everything. So if you click on essential, notice guys that it hides the other 2 layers and all you see is essential, but you still do see that foundation layer. Okay, some of the bubbles went away and this right-hand bar got smaller. If I go to large solution, it adds just that 1 layer above, right? So large solution, you can see another bubble came over. These are competencies. We'll talk more about those. And look, this bar on the right got bigger as well. Now here it gets weird. If I add portfolio, it actually hides that middle layer. So you have essential and portfolio. Again, the bubbles have changed. The bar kind of stayed the same though. But notice something new has popped in, business agility. So when you go to large solution or essential, that business agility layer doesn't show up. When you go to portfolio or full, that's when you see the business agility. Why? Because portfolio is what enables this business agility to happen. Without that layer, you can't get there. And essential and large solution, if you notice, don't have portfolio, okay? So once you get to portfolio safe, This is for companies who want to get to business agility, but who don't have really large go to Mars kind of projects. Okay. And then finally, we have full safe. And in full safe, you get everything. You get the large solution layer, you get the portfolio layer, you get the business agility, you get all these competencies. There's 7 of those. We'll talk more in a minute about that. Okay. So we're going to go back now to this. As you can see across the top, essential, large solution, portfolio, full. You can navigate those, everything else that have hidden away. So here's how you can kind of digest safe. First off, we have the essential layer. This layer is for teams trying to work together to stay agile, but they affect one another. So, and this is for 50 to 125 people. So you have 50 to 125 people, you're going to break them into multiple teams, right? Every Scrum person knows that a 50-person team should be broken down. The problem is that when you get to 50 up to 125, those teams coordinating them through a single product owner becomes quite difficult. In the latest Scrum guide that recently dropped, was it 2021 or 2020, right here at the beginning of the year, they talk about having a single product owner over multiple teams, right? So that's actually, I think, new in not that I remember it being there from the previous version. So up to 50, that might scale, but once you get over 50, it's going to be pretty tough for that to work. And so SAFE focuses on, if you have 50 to 125, how do you stay agile and yet coordinate? Because if we're all trying to get something done together, I need to know what you're doing so that because it might affect me. And if something goes wonky on your team, you need to know to tell me so that I can adjust my plans, right? So this whole layer is about 50 to 125 people staying agile. You can see here that there are 2 of these core competencies that appear when you look at this layer. There is team and technical agility and agile product delivery. Each of these competencies has a questionnaire you can fill out, and you can just say, where are we on the scale? It gives you a little spider diagram, shows you where you're weak, where you might want to grow. So there's one for team and technical, there's one for agile product, there's one for every one of these 7 blue competencies, okay? So if you focus on the essential layer, you are focusing on team agility, technical agility, and product delivery. And that's what all these elements here. So now when you're trying to click on these icons. I like to look at the pictures. They tell me a lot. And then when I have more time, I'll read all the text behind them. I try not to click too deeply onto the next link because there's links within the articles, because you might find yourself an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours later, and you never even finished the first article. So, try to look at the pictures, read the text before you start to delve even deeper. I have, however, clicked on every single link possible at some point in my career, I believe. Okay, so that's the essential layer. Now, next up, if we go down, you can see that there's a large solution layer. So again, you can filter for the large solution layer, which would show you large and essential. But they now introduce a couple new ideas. They introduce a few more roles and get this another competency. So the essential layer grants you 2 competencies. And you know what? I see these competencies as like merit badges for the organization. Like if you're in the Boy Scouts or Girl Scouts, you got those badges because you earn skills. These competencies are like badges, right? My organization now has master team and technical agility, agile product delivery. Well, now enterprise solution delivery is another one of those badges, one of those merit badges that you might earn for the organization. This merit badge is about teams being good at agile and technically as well. This is about the agile product delivery is about turning in your large team of 50 to 125 into a featured machine where you just pump features out, feature. And that's kind of what they envision in SAFE, is that you become a conveyor belt of just features being pushed of value into production, and that it takes lots of teams for that to happen, okay? Once you get to enterprise solution delivery, this competency is about very large value streams. So my clients get very confused about what a value stream is. For simplification for this video, just think of it as a product, okay? So I like to use the Happy Meal as my teaching example. Hopefully I don't get in trouble for that. But the Happy Meal is the product. All of the people that it takes to improve the Happy Meal, create the Happy Meal, that's the value stream. All the work that they do, all the assets that they use, every database they have, every piece of data, every automation, every system they have. That's all kind of like the value stream that either creates the Happy Meal or improves the Happy Meal. So the Happy Meal product, the Happy Meal value stream. So you can use them sort of interchangeably, even though one is the product and one is what creates or delivers value into that product or creates more products. Okay, so in large solution, you can see here, these gray chevrons that are behind this funny train, that represents the steps of your value stream. Notice down here in essential, they have one train and behind it, one value stream, right? Here, they have multiple trains on one value stream. And this is where my clients kind of go off the rails a little bit. they're using this large solution to coordinate many value streams. That's not the purpose of this. The purpose of this is you have hundreds to thousands of people on a single value stream trying to make a single product. So for example, go to Mars, right? That might take thousands of people, but we're all trying to go to Mars. So for them, the events inside of here are phenomenal. They help you coordinate, even though there's thousands of you, on some kind of cadence so that we can all go to Mars together. What I'm seeing as an anti-pattern is my clients have completely disparate value streams, and they're treating it like just a portfolio of value streams. And then these people come to plan together and like, I don't even care what you're working on. It doesn't affect me, right? So that's an anti-pattern there. So large solution, just think of it this way, hundreds to thousands of people on a single value stream. For essential, we have 50 to 125 people working together. And by the way, this could be on one value stream, or it could be on more than one value stream. And there's some articles in SAFE that can show you what that looks like, but I'm not going to get into that right now. Okay, so that's essential, that's large solution. And we've covered 3 of these 7 merit badges. Let's go to the next page. So now you can see the portfolio layer. Okay, with the portfolio layer, it's the 3rd of the 3 major layers of this big portion of SAFE. Okay, and you can see we've introduced some more roles and again, another competency. This competency is called lean portfolio management, and it is the competency that enables business agility. We learned that already, but it's also the competency that allows us to make sure that we know that we're allocating the money to the most valuable things that we could possibly do. Like I've been doing portfolio for longer than I've been doing SAFE, and my clients have always struggled with this. SAFE has some beautiful constructs, but here's the most exciting thing for me about SAFE portfolio. It wants you to decentralize portfolio decisions to the trains. And that is terrifying to my clients. The idea that they might decentralize financial decisions is terrifying, but that is exactly an agile mindset. And it is absolutely what SAFE wants you to grow into doing. You might have to coordinate across value streams, and so they show some of that as well. Again, these are different products. Notice here, this symbol represents the product, and you'll see it popping up. Down here, here's the product from the Agile release train and the context that that product sits in. That would be kind of the same for large solution. But up here, each value stream, this one here produces a product, right? This one here maybe produces a suite of products, and they're showing you that in icons now. So bottom line, the value stream of the steps, the product is what that, so the value stream, the McDonald's product, the Happy Meal product, the Happy Meal value stream, right? You can have Excel, and the Excel, so Excel could be a product, and the Excel value stream would be all the people and things we use to make Excel better, etc. Okay, so we've gotten 4 competencies figured out, and we kind of understand now the basic layers. There's essential, SAFE, large solution, and portfolio. And the value streams, remember, are these gray chevrons. These are the steps, and they appear in all 3. Down here, you can see the train is supporting that value stream. Here, multiple trains supporting the value stream. And here, multiple value streams creating products, and we need to possibly coordinate and need to figure out how much money we're willing to spend. How much money we're going to spend on that Happy Meal, right? And $5 million a quarter. Okay, is that going to change? That might change when strategy changes. So you can see here, there's strategic themes that encompass the new strategies. COVID just hit. How does that change my budgeting, right? So strategic themes are, we put in a strategy to help improve our portfolio, and now that affects how we budget, how we fund, what work we pull, etc. Okay, and if you look throughout here, this blue stuff, epic, capability, and down here, feature, story, these blue items represent units of value. The only difference between them is how risky they are and how long they take. So a story, everybody probably knows what that is. It's the smallest unit of value. It is supposed to be in production. That doesn't always work out. Some teams can't go to production every 2 weeks. And so there's all kinds of patterns or anti-patterns we've made for that. But the bottom line, story is the smallest unit of value I can produce. A feature is what rolls along that train conveyor belt, and it's a bigger chunk of value. Typically can be done in under a quarter though. So it's more than a sprint, but less than a quarter, but it's still a chunk of value. Capabilities are equal to a feature in terms of they're under a quarter. So they even have the same syntax. The only difference between a feature and a capability is that a feature can be delivered by a single ART. In other words, a single train of 50 to 125 people. The capability takes multiple ARTs. So going to Mars, right, that might take multiple ARTs, and we might have some capability that they can live on Mars, or I don't know, but multiple trains participate in that. So they do need to decompose that into individual train level features, but it's all coordinated through that capability. So the same syntax, same complexity, except for the fact that multiple trains versus one train. And then an epic, similar to a project, but if you click on the epic article, the first diagram you see is epics are not projects, and here's why. So there are big differences, but when you're new at it, epics and projects are fairly similar in that they need a business case, they're big whopping things, they're expensive, they're risky, et cetera. So epics have those kind of characteristics, and we manage those. So that is how you do value delivery in SAFe. Is you look at your epics that you close, the capabilities you close, the features and stories that you close. As you see work closing, that's your value delivery report right there, right? Okay. So a lot more to unpack on that, but you get the idea. Essential, large solution portfolio, and we have unlocked 4 different competencies. So what could be next? Oh, up here in the top left, you see suddenly enterprise and government clicked in. Okay, so SAFe does work for government. It does work for enterprise businesses. If you click in here, there's a whole article about it. But the idea is this: at the enterprise level, that's your company. Okay, and the company may only have one IT portfolio. Maybe it has 5, 10 portfolios, right? So great articles in there showing you that you could have multiple instances of this big picture in the organization, but all of them have strategic themes. So the strategic theme is part of this portfolio, but that is what ties us back up into the enterprise. Okay, so this is that connection. If the enterprise wants to impact a portfolio, it is through strategy and strategic themes that they can do that. And each portfolio has its own version of strategic themes, but they all tie back to the same enterprise. That's how we coordinate across portfolios. Okay, so what else? Next, here on the bottom, don't know if you saw that, if you look at the bottom of the screen here, we introduce another competency, lean, agile leadership. And you can see there are 4 things. Now, this gray bar is on the bottom of the entire big picture, because without lean, agile leadership, none of this works. If you don't have this lean, agile leadership, then people are going to learn a bunch of new words and not change a darn thing. They're going to be doing exactly what they've always done. Lean, agile leadership says your leaders need to become lean, agile leader teachers. So what that means is this: when I pair with a CEO level executive or a VP, I teach them about this stuff and the SAFe 4 core values. You see on the icon, there's 4 little lines. That's because there's 4 core values. The House of Lean, that's this little Roman numeral looking thing. And then underneath it looks almost like wings of 4 things. That's the Agile Manifesto values. So the House of Lean, the Agile Manifesto values, and the principles, and the SAFe principles, of which there are 10, I ask my leaders to learn these items. So that's 4 things here, and there's 6 things in the House of Lean. That's 10. 4 more from the manifesto. That's 6. That's 14. 10. That's 24. Plus the 12 principles. That's like 36 pieces of information. And I like to make it quantitative like that. 36 items. Learn them. And then I ask them to pick just one. Pick one of those items and do something big and special with it. I call it my big, visible, agile thing for leadership. And every leader should have a BVAT that shows their commitment to this mindset change that agile and lean is asking us to have. So this layer down here does not work without, the rest of it does not work without this layer. Notice I also uncovered another competency here, continuous learning culture, right? So once the leaders commit to continuous learning, once the leaders start to be lean, agile leader teachers, well, now you can actually believe that you're going to evolve into a continuous learning culture, because the leaders are showing their desire to learn and their ability to teach, and that's going to be infectious to the rest of the organization. Still looking at the bottom here, if we look at the right side of this bar, so now you see the full foundational layer. So there's the foundation layer supporting the 3 layers above. Okay. We do have a role called SPC. That's my certification. Anybody can get it. You have to have there's criteria, obviously, and there's a test and whatnot. But the SPC, we're trained in what's called the implementation roadmap. That's this little racetrack looking thing. The racetrack is a wonderful step-by-step guide on how to help an organization adopt all this complexity. So wonderful step-by-step guide, works great. Sometimes you can't follow perfectly. Sometimes you can. But the SPC, we're trained in how to navigate the complexities of that roadmap. And with us and the leaders, we now support the entire model together. Your company should be training their own SPCs. When I join a company as an outsider, the first thing I ask is, who are your candidate SPCs? Let's get them started on the road, because there's a lot to go. And we want to get them teaching these classes so that I can leave, right? And you can teach your own. Okay, now what? Next page down. Yes. So now up here at the top is business agility. I mentioned before, it's enabled by the portfolio. That's why only portfolio SAFe and full SAFe do it. You can see here, they have a picture. Look, another value stream picture. So we had value streams here, value stream here, value stream here, and even value streams up here. These are called operational value streams. That's how the business makes its money. Whereas these down here might be development value streams that support the systems that the business uses. Lots of great training down here in the implementation roadmap on that. But there's your idea there. So what do we have now? Another competency, and that makes 7. There's 6 along the side and 1 at the bottom. Why is the 1 at the bottom and not with the other 6? Because without it, the other 6 are irrelevant. This one here is the most important. Without it, you're done. With it, you can grow these other 6 and do something special. This top one is organizational agility, and business agility is what enables it. This is where HR is doing agile and legal is doing agile. And by the way, the stores are using agile, right? I have a client, a peer whose client was a hotel going out of business, and they learned how to do housekeeping, front desk work, management, and food, all formed into agile teams. And they use agile now, and that hotel is now thriving. Okay. I've heard a story of a country who's invited an agilist to come into the cabinet to teach them agile so they can try to run the country using some of these mindsets. This is what we're talking about, business agility. This is organizational agility. And it is not unlocked unless you kind of understand portfolio. So there it is. Those are all of the competencies now. If we go one more, the last thing here on the right-hand side, these items here are on what's called the spanning palette. They're out here because they play at any level. As an example, vision, right? You can have a vision for essential, a vision for large solution, and a vision for portfolio. You could have a vision. Check this out. They have product owners over here. The product owner could write a vision for who they want to be in 5 years, right? A roadmap of how we're going to get there, right? What am I going to do as a product owner to become, right? Is it how about a roadmap for the implementation roadmap to see when we're going to become a safe shop for real? Right. So all of these things, milestones, et cetera, these all play at any level. And that's why they hang out here on the right-hand side. So there you go, guys. I'm hoping that the big picture is a little less intimidating. You have 3 layers: essential, large solution, and portfolio. You have a foundation layer that without which the rest that falls apart. A portfolio layer that enables business agility, value streams that teams are there to implement and create a product. Every value stream, every epic capability feature story either creates a product or improves a product. And over here, you have all the different roles it takes to make it happen. And we have these competencies that we can grow and earn as an organization. So we've covered just about everything, but the one thing we haven't looked at is there is an overview tab. Okay, so we looked at these 4, but we never looked at this one. If you click on the overview tab, you see this beautiful picture. So in it, in the very center, what do you see? The customer. And I know in early versions of SAFe, people would tell me, oh, where's the customer in SAFe? And it was there. I could point at it on the big picture, but it was small and kind of to the side. And so now SAFe has gone one step further. They always are listening and they're always growing. There it is, customer dead center. Hopefully that'll help people realize they've always felt this way, but now they're making it clear in the model. And then surrounding that customer are those 7 competencies. And at the bottom, supporting it all still is Lean Agile leadership. These are the other 6 competencies here. Notice these are gray and these are yellow. These gray ones are about technical ability. How do you make technical teams, agile teams? How do you do product delivery? How do you do large solution go to Mars, right? This is all very technical stuff. On the right side is more of the right-brained stuff, the more of the organizational cultural stuff. How do you know that we're spending money on value? How do we get the rest of the organizations to start doing agile, not just the IT departments? And how do we create a continuous learning culture? And all of them have 3 dimensions, and they're all listed here. This one, it looks like one icon, but there's still 3. All the rest, you can see clearly 3 different icons. These are the 3 dimensions. So if you think about it mathematically, there are 21 dimensions. And again, I remember I told you each one of these has an assessment you can take. The assessment basically gives you a spider chart of the 3. And there is one up here, Measure and Grow, that is a smaller version of all 21 in a single questionnaire. I kind of like the individual ones better. I feel like they're a little more thoughtful than the ones I saw up here. But if you're in a rush, this is a great way to get a great read across all 21 dimensions in a single Excel spreadsheet, if you will, versus just focusing on one of these 7. The last thing I want to show you as I wrap up this, and I hope that you found it helpful, I mentioned that even this link up here is a link. I want to click on it for you and show you everything I just talked to you guys about today is on this page. So if you click on this page here, you can see they talk about the benefits of SAFe, and then they show you the big picture, and then they show you the overview that we just finished with. They give you a definition for each of the competencies, and then they even talk about the configurations, right? So essential, large solution, portfolio, and full SAFe. They even talked about the 2 spanning palette versions, the small one for essential and the larger one for all the other configurations. Here's the foundation layer that I was telling you guys about and how important it is, without which you cannot be successful. So great article. If you haven't read it, take a look. A lot of people don't even realize that's a link that you can click on. I hope that my introduction to SAFe has been helpful. And I would love to tell you specifically what's cool in 5.1. There's some great things that I've seen already, especially down here in the what teams look like now. But that's a subject for some other day. Thank you very much for your time. And if you like this video, please give me a like. Thank you. Now I got to find my stop button. There it is. Bye-bye, everybody.